Friends, Romans, countrymen, and toads. Today we stand at the dawn of a new era. Nintendo's next console is just on the horizon. It's hard to believe it's been over 6 years since the release of the Nintendo Switch. Those were uncertain times. The Wii U's commercial issues had Nintendo in a tricky situation, and would a console like the Switch that sort of resembles the Wii U do that well? It turns out it did. Nothing has been confirmed about Nintendo's next console, and with something as large as this, you'll get some info getting leaked out to the public. Problem is that people enjoy lying, so you're gonna have your fair share of fake rumors out there. The biggest recent hint for Nintendo Switch 2 are the button colors in the remakes of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and Super Mario RPG. The buttons are colored much like the SNES buttons. This has led people to believe that the Switch 2 will have this same button color layout, and these game trailers are giving that away. I'm not here to go through all the rumors. Like, if the best thing we have is button colors, I think I'm just gonna call it and say it's too early to discuss what the actual console is gonna be like. Should I really talk about if it's going to implement VR or be as powerful as the PS5? Or double as a Roomba that cleans up your apartment based on how many Pokemon you catch? Why talk about that when it's just gonna get blown out of the water when it's revealed to be just whatever it ends up being? Instead, I want to speculate on the games that we'll be getting on the Switch 2. Using pattern recognition and my personal bias towards what I want to see, I am going to predict with 100% accuracy what is going to be on the new Switch console. For this video, we are going to focus on the party games. Each new generation of Nintendo consoles usually has some variation of these games. Maybe if this video does well, I'll do a follow-up discussing the possibility of main series games coming to Switch 2. So sit back, dust off your Wii U, and join the discussion on Nintendo's future and the future of gaming as a whole. Are you enjoying the Game Cubicle? If you like what I do and want to see me do more of it, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Maybe if you leave me a good video idea, I'll do it and give you a little shout out. Also, make sure to check out Game Cubicle Live, where I post edited highlights of my live streams. Okay, back to the content. It has been 9 years since the last Mario Kart game, and by the time Switch 2 comes out, it will be over 10 years. With Mario Kart 8 literally doubling its tracks in the past 2 years, the Mario Kart devs are in a little bit of a pickle. Like, do they have to give us 98 tracks in Mario Kart 9 right out of the gate? I wonder if Mario Kart 8 is just this new kind of game that just gets perpetually updated in the same engine. I really don't think that's the case. I do like the idea of games becoming super large, much like how this one is, but also there is quite a need for a little bit of a shake-up. A new Mario Kart means more than just some new characters and tracks. It means an entire overhaul of the series. We could change the gameplay styles, add more types of vehicle parts, and even a new type of driving beyond the gliders, underwater propellers, and zero gravity. I think flying could be a cool new overhaul, but it is true that flying in video games is just always less fun than driving. I don't know why, it just seems that flying doesn't work that well. That's why we've got way more racing games and not too many flying games. Regardless, if the Mario Kart devs can really knock it out of the park with some sort of plane mechanic, then I think they should go for it. The sky's the limit. In terms of characters, I want to talk about the implications of this. Animal Crossing villagers, Isabelle, Link, and the Inklings are all present in the game. They've even got their own stages. There's also 2 stages based on the F-Zero series, which doesn't get a section in this video, but with F-Zero 99, we may be seeing a new F-Zero after a billion years. I'm gonna say it right now. Let's not make this Super Smash Kart. I don't want Super Smash Kart. It doesn't work. It should be Mario Kart. I want it to stay Mario Kart. I don't mind the few cameos and the Hyrule stage, but the only place to go from there is too far. If it were Nintendo Kart, then we would miss out on a lot of Mario characters, items, and stages for the sake of making it some big crossover. The reason it works with Smash Bros is that Smash Bros was always a crossover fighting game with its own identity. If it were Nintendo Kart, what would we do about the items? How many tracks would even be Mario themed? Nintendo Kart seems like a cool dream, but when you actually think about the execution of it, you'll realize Mario Kart is the way to go. I think the game devs will realize this too. I'm sure they considered the idea deeply, but I really doubt that's where they'll go with it. What I also want in the new Mario Kart is to please include more single-player content and a story mode. I want this to be not just a party game, but a game that I can play and engage with on my own. The Nintendo Switch drifted away from single-player content in its party games, and I want them to return to that. Online play really killed single-player content, but I don't see why it had to. Honestly, this request applies to every party game I talk about in this video. Just because a game is designed primarily for multiplayer doesn't mean it shouldn't consider the lonely experience. Of all the games I'm going to talk about in this video, I think this is actually the least likely. Honestly, I think they might just stick with Mario Kart 8 and port it over and put even more tracks and more characters. If they do make a new Mario Kart, it probably won't be there early on in the new console, and they'll just rely on Mario Kart 8 more. But a new Mario Kart needs to come sometime. They can't just stick to 8 forever, right? Right. Mario Party is the Nintendo party game that has taken the biggest hit in quality since the GameCube era. I still just bust out the GameCube to play these old games. I don't know why they just can't get these games right anymore. There's two big issues with modern Mario Party: the gameplay and the presentation. As for the gameplay, the modern games just have a little too quick pacing and too few game mechanics compared to its GameCube counterparts. Trap orbs and more pronounced board mechanics would help a lot. I think at least in Mario Party Superstars the gameplay is pretty solid. I do enjoy playing that one, but I still prefer the GameCube games. However, the bigger difference is in presentation. Mario Party Superstars is just bland compared to these GameCube games. I think that with the remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, we are going to see a return to a bit more creativity in these Mario spin-offs. If the gameplay isn't as great as the GameCube Mario parties, then that's okay. But I swear, if the host is just a generic Toad, I am going to lose my mind. Also, make Toadette playable again, please and thank you. I'm not sure if Mario Party should keep doing this trend of remakes like Mario Party Superstar. I know Superstars isn't a remake per se, but it reuses boards and minigames. It focuses much more on the Nintendo 64 era, so if they did do another remake-ish sort of game, it would focus more on the GameCube era, and that would make me a really happy guy. But if they make a brand new Mario Party with all new minigames and boards, I would like to see that too, as long as it's done well. I honestly don't know which I would rather see. The GameCube era remake game doesn't have a lot to innovate on, which will guarantee me having an enjoyable experience, but also won't give me anything newer than just replaying the GameCube games. These GameCube games don't even really need a remake. GameCube games hold up very well. I think all the GameCube Mario Party needs are just a few good re-releases, and give the Mario devs some time to work on something brand new. Oh, and also, get rid of Chance Time. Chance Time is stupid, and it makes the whole game have no stakes. I said my piece. If you think Mario Party got it bad since the GameCube and Wii era, at least it actually got games. Mario Baseball only had 2 installments, and both were excellent. I don't understand why tennis and golf always got new installments while baseball gets pushed to the side. Maybe baseball just isn't as popular as a sport. What's so novel about Mario Baseball is that it just has to include so many playable characters, since baseball teams consist of 9 players. Because of this, we got some really unorthodox character choices like King K. Rool, the Piantas, Toadsworth, and Goomba? How do you play baseball with no arms? Goomba made it work, and I love it. A new installment should follow a lot in the footsteps of Mario Super Sluggers and include a solid story mode where you go through playing different baseball challenges and unlock more characters. Mario Baseball would be super cool post Super Mario Bros. Wonder, because some of the new Mario Wonder characters could be featured in the game. As far as new mechanics go, I always thought it would be cool for Mario Baseball to include some kind of crazy platforming that involves hitting the ball and running alongside an obstacle course, stopping at different bases. A perfect combination of Mario and baseball. This would only work as a fun little gimmicky challenge, and the main gameplay would just be regular old baseball. I think a new Mario Baseball would also take great advantage of online play. Considering the length of a baseball game, you may have some issues with people quitting 4 innings in, but if everything were in place, then this game would be super fun to play online. Mario Baseball actually has a really in-depth meta, and is still played to this day in niche communities. Mario Baseball really has the potential to become a massive competitive game. Much like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a game that is so massive, we really have to ask ourselves, where do we go from here? Is Smash Ultimate going to be just that? Ultimate? Will they just port it over and add more characters and more stages? If they did do that, I would really like to see some more single-player content and a better story mode than World of Light. Whether they made a new Smash or just port Ultimate, I really want to see some kind of shake-up to Smash. But if there was a new Smash, what do we do about everyone is here? Would everyone be here again? It's a tall order, especially since so much of the everyone can get really repetitive. Just look at all the Fire Emblem characters, or the 3 Links. Another issue with Smash Ultimate as it stands is that it isn't only Nintendo characters anymore. It's been called a celebration of gaming rather than just a game full of Nintendo characters. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. Like, is it even possible to get another Pokemon in there? I've already accepted that if we do get another Pokemon, it will just be another starter, and probably a fire-type starter at that. Smash Bros. Not being just confined to Nintendo characters makes the character selection much too broad, and maybe some of these more out-there video game picks could just stay in Ultimate, and the next game can have a smaller roster of only Nintendo characters. Someone is going to be disappointed with the next Smash. It's all but guaranteed. They can't bring back everything that Ultimate has to offer. How many characters would it even have? 200? Better to gut most of the roster and have another game with almost 100 characters, but let some new characters take the spotlight. After all, can you really balance a game that has 500 characters? What would that meta even look like? You gotta draw the line somewhere. I'm biased to this, of course. I'm pretty much just a Nintendo gamer, so Smash Ultimate's DLC just kinda had me like, who are you people? When Smash 4 and Ultimate were coming out, I remember really anticipating who was going to be added into the game. I couldn't contain my excitement when characters like Bowser Jr., Isabelle, and King K. Rool were put in the game. I had no excitement for any DLC characters. And maybe a lot of other people did, and if you were excited, then good for you. I'm glad you were happy with it. I still enjoy the game, and I'm not saying that it needs to only have Nintendo characters for my own benefit. I think that it should only have Nintendo characters because that will keep the game a little more focused. Even if you really love your Sephiroths, your Kazuyas, and Minecraft Steves, you have to admit that the game is getting a little jumbled. And these extra DLC characters don't even get that much presence in the game. All you get is the character themselves and one stage. They don't have any other references like items or assist trophies. I think it's better to just clear out the non-Nintendo characters and focus really heavily on the 20 or so Nintendo franchises that are crossing over. And hey, Ultimate will still exist, and it should just exist as its own game that we can return to. There's a reason people almost never return to Smash 4, but lots of people still revisit Brawl and Melee. And that is, well, I mean, no one has a Wii U, but I think the bigger reason is that Smash Ultimate is more of an improvement on Smash 4, rather than a game with its own identity. Think about it. Every character in Smash 4 is in Ultimate, as is just about every stage. They even look pretty similar. There's really no extra content worth playing in Smash 4 that isn't already in Ultimate. Why play a game that is just a lesser version of the next one? If Smash Switch 2 is completely overhauled compared to Smash Ultimate, then Smash Ultimate can coexist with its sequel, sort of like how there are both Melee tournaments and Smash Ultimate tournaments. I think the message of this video, that I'm just now realizing as I write it, is that these new party games should be just that, new. They shouldn't exist to replace the old. They should be different enough so that revisiting the old can still be fun. I think this is a big issue in a world where online play gets shut down by Nintendo in the next generation. We tend to think of the new games as replacements rather than supplements. And I think we should think the same way about the Switch 2 itself. The new Switch shouldn't make your old Switch obsolete. They should exist in tandem. When the Wii came out, did you stop playing GameCube games? I certainly didn't. I remember switching off between Brawl and Melee, between Mario Party 8 and Mario Party 7, between Mario Super Sluggers and Mario Superstar Baseball, between Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart Double Dash. All those games I listed have their own unique identities, and none of them replace the other. I revisit all of those games almost equally. That's why I truly hope that the Switch 2 has backwards compatibility with the Switch. I know I'm not going to be influencing Nintendo's decisions with my video here. If any of these games are in development, then Nintendo is already hard at work on them, and the decisions have been made. But when you, the player, are looking at some of the new announcements for Switch 2, and some of them happen to be really different, just remember that the Switch is not going to be dead and gone. It will always exist, just as the Nintendo 64, GameCube, Wii, and that other one will always exist as well. So, those are my thoughts. What did you think of my suggestions? Do you like my ideas? Do you absolutely hate them? Are you excited for the Switch 2? Let me know in the comments below. If you like what I do and want to see me do more of it, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps with the algorithm recommending my videos. Also, make sure to check out Game Cubicle Live, where I post edited highlights of my live streams. And if you're feeling particularly moved by what I've crafted for you today, consider subscribing to my Patreon for as low as $1 a month. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.